Call Creve Coeur School District Number 76 Board of Education regular meeting to order. I want to welcome those in attendance. If you'll stand and join us in the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Here.
Pam Griner.
Here.
Brenda Cagle. Val Reagan. Here. Julie True.
Here.
Rebecca Kern. Here. Judy Strong.
Present. At this time, we'll have any comments from the audience. Please stand, state your name and address, please. Yes.
Randy Gibbons, 821 South Creve Coeur Avenue. I'd like to comment about the levy real quick and then responsibilities. Quickly, my understanding of the levy, simplified version, the board sets a levy with all the rules, guidelines, and restrictions, and that's what the property owners are going to pay. And it has to go into approximately 11 different funds. And when you set that levy, that doesn't mean you take a bunch of money from one fund and shift it over when you receive it into your budget. The board is supposed to be voting on that. Two reasons to vote on it: to let the public know that money's being shifted, but more importantly, so future boards knows what you've done. Was the money loaned to the other fund, or was it transferred? If it was loaned, I believe you have 3 years. Future boards got 3 years to pay that other fund back, the money that was borrowed. Okay, last year's budget, there was $178,000, some tax revenue that came in late. And it was all based on revenue and your tax levies. But rather than dividing it up and putting it in different funds, you kept it all together, $178,000, put it all in operation and maintenance. This board, this current board, has no idea. Was it loaned? Was it permanently transferred or anything else? Because the board never took any action other than just, they put it there. They called it TIF, and we know from the village that the TIF expired. The money did not come from the TIF, the money came from the county, not from the village. And the money should have been dispersed in the different accounts. Now, if you wanted to move it, there's procedures that you're supposed to follow. Your audit, it didn't show up. I only got a chance to glance. I don't want to comment too much about your annual financial report that was just completed. Didn't mention that, about that. I asked a few months ago, how did you pay for the renovation over to Litchfield? Because I looked at the budget. I thought I knew where it was at in the budget. But at the end of the year, all this money was sitting there in that fund, which I thought was going to pay for it. Nobody has answered me where it came from. I didn't, if it's in the AFR, I did not see it. Because you're not supposed to just take money from one fund and put it in another. You're not supposed to be going negative in any of your funds. And except for eating payroll. So if you spend down on this one line item and it hits zero, you have to stop, or the board has to take action. They have to vote to transfer or loan money from another line item to cover those expenses. Again, the only exceptions to meet payroll that I know of. Responsibilities. I know that your last year's annual financial report, you received that in December. You finally discussed it in March. There was a number of mistakes. I haven't seen where anything's been sent to the state to let them know that there's several mistakes. Another report that was just sent to the state recently was on the energy efficiency grant. The mistakes in that. I haven't heard anybody discuss those mistakes in that report or even talk about sending them to the state and informing them what those mistakes were in that report. There's a lot of reports I see with mistakes, but the board doesn't want to talk about it, and they're not correcting this. And this is your responsibilities, and I've even stepped up, and Mr. Albans may have been contacted. I am contacting people, trying to reach out and say, this is what's going on. Will you look into it? Is there a mistake, or do I misunderstand all of this stuff that's going out and going forward? The other is your responsibility with the school funds. Three of the board members now said that happened 2 years ago. It was not 2 years ago. It was March 12th, I believe, in 2012. They voted to transfer those funds. It was July 2012, they appointed 2 custodians over those Parents Club's funds. The custodians of those accounts, and you kept telling the community last summer, repeatedly, we're waiting for an audit. There was no audit. You never contacted the auditor, according to a letter that I received from the previous superintendent. And then all of a sudden, we find out this year the money was spent. So you're saying it happened before you got on the board. Mrs. Strong, you were on the board, this was just last year.
I was.
It was back in May.
I misunderstood what you were
Back in May, LaSalle, they zeroed out their account. I didn't see the custodian's signatures on those checks.
You have 20 seconds to
You
wrap
appointed
up.
custodians.
Thank you.
Y'all appointed custodians over those accounts. So why are they writing the checks? Who okayed this? I mean, why should you invite us to the board when you make these appointments and they're ignored?
We
this is
have
good.
been seeking on some of your answers, so I'm sure you'll be noticing in our minutes things happening in our reports. Thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Was there another area you wanted to talk about?
Addressing the Parents Club, I wasn't
Oh, you're
finished.
not finished, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
I understand, I'm just about finished though.
Okay.
It's the board's responsibility. You took the responsibility when you took the funds and you told the community you were waiting for an auditor. Has anybody yet seen that report? In fact, when you transferred the money, made that decision, you said it was a recommendation of an auditor. That's the reason why I looked at the auditor's report last year. They did not mention, they didn't even audit the Parents Club. There's no mention of the Parents Club. And their money is gone, and the 7 of you, it was spent while the 7 of you were on this board. You were all, it was right after the election. And the 7 of you do owe everybody an explanation. Why was it ignored? Why isn't there signatures? There's several receipts you mentioned, on this last meeting, I said you mentioned a couple of receipts missing when they closed those. What about all the other receipts for Parkview? Where stuff was turned in, you were worried about the EIN number last summer when the parents were controlling it. You don't have receipts when a board member was writing those checks. And I don't know who authorized a board member to write the checks. But you need that, you need those receipts for your EIN number.
Can I answer that? The funds were never transferred, and a board member was not writing the checks. I was not writing the checks as a board member. I was the treasurer of their parents' club.
We also have a couple of, over your concerns, voice concerns, we have a couple of members of the board that are doing a visual for all of us. So we do hear you, Mr. Giddens, and I thank you for bringing understanding further to us. We're all in a learning curve, so appreciate it.
Well,
Is that
and
all?
I have a comment too.
Okay.
I want to reiterate that we are only board members when we are sitting at this table. I'm a member of this community, I'm a volunteer, and I'm a parent. So when I'm at the school as a parent or a volunteer, I'm not a board member. So we're board members here at this table. So just leave it at that.
Thank you,
Comments
Mrs.
to them. Mr. Giddens, we are working on this and hope to have it on one of the December agendas for the Parents Club.
And I do appreciate your effort on that. We want to be visible, we want to be accountable. There's no one on this board that doesn't, so thank you. We are working on those issues. Any other comments?
If I could, we have with us today, Vikas, is that right?
Yeah, perfect.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Vikas is Schenker.
Yeah,
Okay. If I'm not saying it right, you gotta tell me.
you're good.
All right. Vikas is our reporter who is assigned to Creve Coeur. And Creve Coeur School District, the City Council, the Police Department, everything, all right? You cover the whole village.
I try to.
Yeah, all right. So if you saw the article that was in the newspaper last Saturday about Parkview's ISAT assembly, Vikas was the one who was there taking pictures and wrote that story. He reached out to me when he came to the newspaper and wanted to get some background and to understand the school district, and so we've already started a relationship here with the media, and I think it's going to be a good one. We're going to work together to bring some good light onto Creve Coeur School District and the village itself. So I just wanted to introduce you to the board and the board to you. So we'll be seeing him more and more.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, hey, all right.
We do appreciate that. Any other comments? Thank you for coming out tonight. We have action items that we're progressing to. We need a motion for the consent agenda, please.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Comments?
Yes. In the October 15th meeting, I think it was, yes, it said that I voted nay, under K, executive session matters, that I voted nay for Mrs. Fay.
Oh, was that
I voted
abstain? Okay, you are correct. No, you said that.
So we can make that note and still approve them? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for catching that. No, as soon as you said it, I was like, ah, yes.
I do have a couple questions on bills, and I apologize, the power being out and everything, I just didn't get it. And it's simple questions. 15007,
Page number, that'd be easier way to,
number 4.
page 4.
It just says survey console. I was just curious, what is that?
Where are you at?
It's on the bottom of page 4.
Very bottom,
Morton Community Bank.
page 4.
You get on the right page 4, sorry.
Number of page 4.
Check number
It's the
1.
very first page
Yeah, I
for it.
Visa, Morton Community Bank, Survey Council.
You know?
Well, you know, Mrs. Bale, that was one that I highlighted, and I had to ask Shelley about it.
Okay.
What the heck is this? This is a monthly reoccurring charge that we get. Survey Council is a service that we pay for to conduct surveys with using the internet. Have you used it since you've been here? No. So it's it's something that's just brand new, or not brand new, but brand new to me. And I just saw that as like Survey Council. What is this? It doesn't mean that it didn't have a purpose. Just asking Shelley today, she wasn't sure how it was used or anything like that, but it was something I'm going to run down and figure out, is this something we need? Is something can we use it, or do we need to just get rid of $15 a month? So, yep,
Okay.
good idea.
That's easy. And the check to Chicago, I noticed that you and Mrs. Strong's is more than everybody else's. I'm sure there's a reason, but
Oh,
I don't know.
Going up the night before because we have an early morning, all-day seminars.
right, it's an extra night of room, room night, because I'm going up, I've got an all-day school law seminar, all-day Friday, so it starts at 8 o'clock in the morning, and
Oh, okay. I didn't know we had that option. Okay.
And mine is the president trainings.
I know they have some good Fridays, the all-day programs. Okay, that's all I have.
I thought you knew that, I'm sorry.
I don't think we discussed it at a board meeting, did we?
Mrs. Strong, I also have something on the Parkview activity report.
Okay.
I think we can go ahead and approve it, but after the last one, I emailed Mr. Aldridge and told him that there was a check missing. Check number 6510 has not been accounted for on any activity report so far. So we need to find out if that was voided or
Okay.
where that's at.
and that wasn't in the,
Last month.
65.
Because it starts at 6516.
The last month I was missing too.
Yeah.
Check number 6510. We,
Usually when
it's voided, she
Yeah.
says it's voided, so.
Very good on your side.
0. All right, I will ask Ms. Cornwell where that might be.
You need that for the public.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay. Have a roll call.
Linda Bailey,
With those changes made, aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Julie True,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. We need a motion, please, for E2.
I make a motion regarding the second reading and adoption of trust policies 2.105, school board ethics and gift ban, 2.120, school board member development, 2.150, school board committees, 5.20, general personnel, workplace harassment, 7.340, students and student records.
A second. Any comments?
I still don't agree with the committees, but it is what it is.
Any other comment? Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle. Val Reagan.
Aye.
Julie True,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Action item E3, please, a motion.
I make a motion regarding the tentative tax levy.
This is just the tax levy form. We received all of the backup at the committee of the whole meeting. This is just a form. What we have to do is we have to put it in the public, well, we have to make it conveniently available for the public to view for 20 days prior to adoption. So this will, because we only did it, you only saw the tentative, you first saw it at the committee meeting. We didn't have enough time between then and now, 20 days, so we will move this forward and have it on display. Then it will be voted on and adopted at the December regular meeting. And then we'll file it with the clerk in plenty of time.
So
as soon
right
as-
now, we're just voting to display it.
Yep, that is correct. Put it on display so that we have a public record of it being available to the public, and it will be put on the website tomorrow or Thursday. So, well, I guess we better get it on tomorrow.
Any other comments?
Oh, I missed who seconded that. I'm sorry.
Brenda.
Brenda.
Mrs. Cagle.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
No other comments? Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Julie True,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Action item E4, a motion, please.
I make a motion regarding the snow removal service bids as presented.
A second. Thank you.
Well, we had 3 contractors submit proposals. the contractor that we used last year, Borschite, did not respond to our phone calls, which led us to having to, well, what are we going to do now? So we put this out and, did some requests for bids on our snow removal. Actually, we contacted about 5 different companies, but these were the 3 who submitted proposals. But Borschite was not one of them, so we weren't sure what had happened or what was going on there. But the recommendation that I put forth is to use the company A Cut Above to service the LaSalle, Homewood, and Litchfield sites. And that would also include the playground. And he has equipment to get into the playground without having to remove the chain link fence. So I kind of like that part. And then for Parkview School, to hire Grove Construction to take care of that area there. So it's kind of broke up a little bit. In doing so,
Can I amend the motion to include the name, the Cut Above Tree Service for snow removal?
And then Grove Construction also.
Grove Construction.
He's got 2 of them. He's approving both.
There are 2 different motions, that's all.
That's 2 different. So are we doing them together?
No, I mean, we do separate. It's just that you said snow removal first time. And they're both snow removals.
Okay, just amended them.
Okay, then just leave it as it was, as presented. I mean, I thought these are combination ones. I mean, I guess.
I'd like to see the company names at least in the
Okay,
minutes then.
so let's amend it to add a Cut Above Tree Service and Grove Construction.
Well, one is just at Parkview.
Oh my gosh, amend it as to accept the proposal from a Cut Above Tree Service for snow removal service at LaSalle School, Homewood Heights, and Litchfield Building. To accept the proposal from Grove Construction for snow removal service at Parkview.
Let's do the first motion first. That was good, Julie.
Yeah,
They're together, they're both E4s.
but we can only vote on one motion at a time.
So then why was Grove Construction? I tried to amend this.
It's right underneath it. I just now saw that too. I'm sorry, Mrs. True.
Just leave out the, I'll quit making motions.
No, you've done.
Just leave out the Grove one,
I
the Grove Construction.
Let's just vote on the first one first.
Can I ask a question? Is Cut Above the Rest, Cut Above the Rest? A Cut Above, is it local?
Yes. He actually lives in Creve Coeur.
Mr. Jones.
It wasn't Mr. Jones. I forget the gentleman's name.
Perry?
It says Perry.
Harry?
Yeah.
Where does it say that? Oh, Perry, yeah, please call Perry. Perry and Scott have gone in together to do Cut Above Tree Service. So they are going to be doing tree service, lawn care, snow removal, those kind of things. So it's Perry is the local connection. He lives here in Creve Coeur and gave us a proposal. So
And this is a one-year contract?
yes, ma'am, it's just for the year.
Who does the sidewalks now? Is this the
That's part of it.
responsibility?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what it
It
says.
said walkways, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I wanted to make sure, because at one time our janitors did it.
Okay, no, this is salt, walkways, and the parking lots, and the playground with Cut Above doing LaSalle playground area, blacktop.
Although I think it was a smart move, why did you decide to do 2 different ones? Is there a reason?
Well, actually, yes, there was. Because when I found out that Borschite was not responding, we weren't quite sure what we were going to do. I just contacted Mr. Grove, since he does a lot of our maintenance around the school, and I asked him if he was interested in the snow removal, and he said he had been in the past. except that he does not have the enough equipment, enough time, and enough manpower to do all of them. And I said, well, then what could you do? And could you just do Parkview? Could you just do LaSalle? And he said, yeah, Parkview would be easy because it's just like zoom, 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 zoom. And I put a guy on a snowblower while I'm doing the parking lot, and we could clear that out with my equipment very easily. So I'd like to apply for the Parkview if you're going to break it up. And so that's what I did. And I think it came out to a very competitive bid because between the two of them, it is less than what we were paying for Borshite last year. So.
And you get it done faster. I think
Because
it's a
two
good
different
choice.
people
Right.
working.
Yeah, just wondered.
And the sidewalks are getting done.
Yeah. Well, I know, that has been an issue in the past.
I try to think ahead on those
I
kind
don't
of
think I've
things.
done the last
It was an
couple.
issue last
The
year.
custodian.
Really?
Who did it, that's why I asked.
Okay.
Specifically in open session.
Okay, will they be doing anything on snow less than 2 inches?
On snow less than 2
Because
inches.
everything I see is 2 inches and more. I
Oh, that
mean,
2 inches, I see what you're
like
saying.
salting or,
They do say salt is 125 a ton spread, so they have considered.
I mean, at
maybe
what
that's what they're
time?
talking
Yeah.
when are they gonna come out is my question.
Yeah,
If we have a massive
Two or
ice
the-
storm and
Yeah.
we need salt, but we don't need plowed.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I don't see that there will be any problem since these two are both local. If, less than 2 inches, the sidewalks are the issue and the salt is the issue, not necessarily the parking
But they'll
lots.
go ahead and come out then and do it without you having to contact them?
Probably not, but I will make that, when I say that we've awarded those bids, that that's our expectation, and see that comes in, so. I don't know, they may have already thought of that ahead of time, I'm not sure. So, sidewalk. Plus.
We don't get ice very often up here, but every once in a while, there's a massive ice storm.
With salt, all right.
Or
Good.
is it
School will be
Christmas
canceled
break?
then anyway. Huh?
Yeah, really.
Of course, school will be canceled probably anyway.
Hey, I don't like canceling school.
Hey, just saying.
about. All right, roll call, please.
Linda Bailey.
Okay, this is the cut
This is
above?
the first one,
Okay.
yes.
Aye.
Pam Griner.
Aye.
Brenda Cagle.
Aye.
Val Reagan.
Aye.
Julie True.
Aye.
Rebecca Kern. Aye. Judy Strong.
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. We need a second motion for E4.
I make a motion to accept the proposal from Grove Construction for the snow removal service at Parkview School.
A second. Thank you. Mrs. Bailey. Any further discussion on that one?
Yes, deeper snow could cost more.
Yeah.
Because this guy's giving us over 6 inches, he's $450.
Grove
Guy.
Construction, it just says deeper snow could cost more.
Mhm.
Is that an open checkbook or?
No, well, no, not with Mr. Grove being our
Okay.
maintenance man. No, I mean, over 12 inches turns hourly, special equipment may be needed, there are over 6 inches here. He's built in some,
That's the other guy though.
yeah, no,
It
I
is
understand.
specific.
He
Okay.
has built in some of these.
Mhm.
Mr. Grove has, first visit, and then if there's a return
Mm-hmm.
visit, so, if it is above, deeper snow could cost more. So let's I will put an expectation on that. I like expectations.
I just want to clarify too, this is Grove Construction, this is Harley Grove. We employ Toby Grove, is that correct?
Same person,
Is it?
isn't it?
I thought one was the son.
I think it's the same guy, isn't it?
Same guy.
Yeah.
Toby just is the nickname.
Okay.
Same.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle,
Aye.
Val Reagan,
Aye.
Julie Truitt,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye. Judy Strong.
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need a motion for action item E5.
Make a motion to engage in general construction services to remove or replace certain broken asphalt.
That's not the right.
Oh, that's not the right one? Hang on.
We're
Oh,
on
yeah.
digital
Sorry.
copy system.
I make a motion to enter into a new 5-year contract. Where am I at?
You're
You're right.
That's
Okay,
it.
a new 5-year contract with Digital Copy Systems LLC with the option to purchase at the end of the lease.
I'll second.
Yes. Our copy machine contract expires at the end of December. And so I did some negotiating, was able to get us what I think is a pretty good deal. Like I said, it reduced our lease agreement payment by $7.
Hey, reduced.
$7. All right, we got a cheaper deal. But what's better is that we get 5 brand new machines, not used or reconditioned. These are brand new machines. We're getting 2 machines that are the same type that we have at LaSalle and Parkview right now. So there's not going to be any kind of a learning curve for the teachers or the staff in using them. But what I've done is the backup machines are a different brand. And the thing with the new machines, and which ones are they? Those are, oh, he didn't say. Canon and Canons are the ones that we have now, and the other ones, I don't know, Mitsubishi or Hyundai, I don't know, one of those copier companies. The new machines are faster, quieter, and less heat, put off less heat in the transfer for making copies. So we've had heat issues with the copiers in the small room here at LaSalle, so this is going to be really helpful for that situation. And what we've done is these are now networked. All 5 of the machines will be networked so that staff will have individual mailboxes that they will send their print jobs to. They'll send it to their individual mailbox. They'll go down to the copy machine, punch in their mailbox number, and print their copies right there while they're standing right there. So they're not waiting in queues all the time. Or you hit print, and by the time you get back down to the printing, down to the printer, you're waiting in line, or you're all backed up, or somebody's taking your copies, set them over here, and you don't know where they are, things like that. So this is giving the staff a lot of freedom and will reduce a lot of our paper waste. Because if you're in the first grade room and you hit print, you don't know that there's pink paper from the last person down there, or half of them come out with blue and the other half with green, and you're at a loss there. And we're going to reduce our waste. We're going to reduce our cost for paper overall, and it's going to give the teachers and the staff a lot more freedom since they'll be all networked up. So that was, and $7
Right.
less a
$7,
month.
right?
Okay, so I thought that was a good deal.
So the monthly payment is $1,220?
That is correct.
Okay, because I've seen over here it says $595, but I didn't know what that meant.
That is correct. The $595 is the actual cost of the machines, and that is the service contract. The $595 is the service contract. The $700 difference is the cost of the machines. So we have the same full service contract that we had with these other ones. And have there been any problems with the service that you guys have had over the last 5 years with digital DCS?
No, not that I'm aware of, no.
Ms. McCardle?
No, really very good with us about everything.
They come out, they respond real well when they get here. Ever since I've been here, they really have shown some really good service, and they really kept up the machines. As they're getting to the end of their lifetime, they're out here a little bit more, so they want, you know, newer machines out here so they don't have to come out as often, you know, save their costs too. But we have the full package. Yeah, 100% satisfaction guaranteed. These machines have a guaranteed replacement at customer's request with no questions asked, at no charge for pickup. That's all my handwriting if you see that. And one of the things that was a deal breaker for Ms. Walton was staples.
Yes, yeah, Staples.
Yeah, staples for all copiers. We are paying for one staple and $7 less per month.
I do see that there is an adjustment on that agreement, Mr. Aldridge, the total that they're going to allow us from, it looks like for
Oh, 1.5 million black and white copies.
okay, 1.5.
1.5.
I'm sorry, that looked like a 4 that was crossed out.
Yeah, no, that's my cross out, 1.5, and yeah, it's 2 million.
So they increased that for us too.
Well, yeah, but they know that that's a safe increase for them because we run about 1.350 over our past 5 years, so they know what they're doing.
So you've also got it increased on.
Yeah, I got it increased, and $7 less.
And so, okay. Any further
How much was
inquiries?
that was?
Was it $6?
We didn't have to put this out for bids.
Nope, not when it's copy machines. It is one of those excluded, yes.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
Aye.
Brenda Cagle,
Aye.
Val Reagan,
Aye.
Julie True, Rebecca Kern, aye, Judy Stroud.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now can I read these next?
Now we're going to motion E6.
I make a motion to engage general construction services to remove and replace certain broken asphalt pavements at LaSalle School in the amount not to exceed $8,000.
Second.
Right, and you will see that is a difference from what my original recommendation was. The estimates, the two estimates that are in your booklets, total $6,500. But when I've walked the grounds again since then, and this was only for the exit of the horseshoe out here, the exit part closest to the building. There's also holes that have started and crumbling asphalt at the entrance of the parent pickup or the entrance of the parking lot that's happening out there. And we also have, if you haven't seen, there's a large, I won't say cesspool, but it is a large lagoon right outside our door where the asphalt that is there is kind of subsided. And I would like to take care of that, especially before the winter and it all gets all scraped off, you know. So that's why I increased it not to exceed $8,000 because when I walked the grounds with Mr. Grove, Toby or Harlan or whatever his name is, when I walked it with him, we talked about and discussed those things today, you know, what are our options in that. So I would just like a little bit of extra freedom to put a little more blacktop out there as needed.
Did you get any more estimates?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I didn't go out to get any other estimates. This is General Construction Services has been the one that you've done with the other parking lot and the expansion of the back parking lot out there, and you've used them in the past. So it's not anything that has to go out for bid. It was just calling somebody that we've used in the past.
Do you know about how much it costs to fix the lagoon?
No, because I didn't have that as part of the estimate at the time. Because I had just put down, we just spent $500 to put down a milling
Yeah.
to roll it out and regrade it. So I was hoping that that would take care of the problem, so I didn't look into it. We can wait, you know, they can put asphalt down in the middle of winter if you want to get other bids, if you want to, you know, look at,
Are you
you know,
just,
expanding or
are you
whatever.
just looking at asphalting that area, or did, I mean, maybe more needs to be done? I don't know, I mean, that's been a mess forever.
There's a lot that could be done. I mean, there is a lot that could be done. I'm just trying to put some Band-Aids on things that are some immediate problems right now until we can get to a plan. Because you're right, it needs to be something that's planned out more than just this. But we do have a broken areas that need fixed before winter because they're just going to get bigger. They're just going to get bigger. So, but if you want me to go out and find other quotes or other proposals, I don't have any problem with that. These were just this was just a company that was, you know, used in the past. So, whatever the board's pleasure would be.
Kevin?
I'm okay on this one, but when we do the whole area, we do need to get estimates.
Oh, yeah, it's
you know,
going to be
just
more
make-
than, it's probably going
We're
to need to be
talking
something that's bid.
Okay, so we're gonna pay $8,000 for basically a Band-Aid then.
Right, so maybe we should look into it. I mean, because we keep putting money in there and it's not working.
I'm saying not put any money into the back parking lot at all, because we've got a leaky roof and computers that don't work.
But you need a parking lot too.
We have a parking lot right now. It's
A functional parking.
It's functional.
I've
People
parked back
have
there
to
for
drive.
4 years.
I know, I've done it too, but it's just,
How long ago has it been that we had to have a plug in the driveways?
For sure.
Plug in the driveway.
What you're saying now? A fix, do you know?
Ooh,
Was this
I-
last year only? I don't know if I recall. Does anybody recall?
Mr. Bockler, Mike,
What was the question?
wake up.
What was the question? I didn't hear the question.
How long ago did we have to do such a thing with the, you know, you have the holes only that we're looking at, so how long ago did we have to fill in other holes, or were these the same
The
holes?
one that you're talking about, the bus exit, that's from day one.
Always.
And the reason why they're dig down, there'll be probably about a foot and a half of rejects there because there's a big soft spot there that keeps working up. And so, it's going to keep pumping. So we fixed it once already, Mr. Dad, we've had it fixed a couple of years ago.
Okay. So it's been fixed in
So,
a
you know,
years.
it's not going to deteriorate because there's plenty of gravel underneath.
All right.
So it's a Band-Aid.
So it's been 4 years, actually. It was before we were on the board, but it was that year. Yeah,
Because
It's
Bennett
either
had
4 or 5 years.
Remember, he had it sealed and striped.
The same spot?
Well, he had it
Talking about-
sealed. I don't know that he actually had it filled, but he had that whole LaSalle parking lot sealed and striped.
I remember.
Remember the did.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's
Well, you can
been.
see
4
that
years ago.
what we looked at was going 6 inches in depth with replacement of the blacktop, removal of the blacktop and replacement at the exit of the parking lot area, 25 feet by 22 feet at 6 inches thick. So they're digging down, they're getting out, and they're putting in a whole new plate of blacktop there. And then also the other part that I'm looking at, that the estimate was, is right in front of the dumpsters out here. We've got speed bumps, basically. And it's just because of the the heaviness of the garbage trucks going in and out. And if you go out during the day and you look at it, it's a broken mess. So what I had asked for in the estimate was a concrete. So we're going to have fiber reinforced concrete slab, size 30 feet by 20 feet at 6 inches in depth in front of the dumpster, so that you have an actual pad that the truck is going to be driving on. That way you won't get reoccurring speed bumps. So,
And the bus exit, is that going to have a pad also?
no, that's just the black top,
Okay.
6 inches worth of black top. So,
Well, I honestly think it would be cheaper to fix that divot that you're talking about, that cesspool area. at
no,
15
lagoon, not
The
cesspool.
lagoon, sorry, I stand corrected. That would be cheaper to fix that at, $1,500 than to have someone slip and fall and go into an insurance claim. It's just a thought. If we're gonna be making some repairs, we might want to address that now.
But I understand completely about, is it good money after bad money?
Right.
Bad money after good money? I understand that question. So that's why, I'm bringing this out to say, these are some of the things that need to be fixed, and, before it is a significant problem. I mean, it's bad, but it's not, people's cars aren't, falling down in potholes. And it needs to be fixed, but does it need to be fixed as individual pieces or as an overall larger project? That's,
Perhaps we should have some additional quotes, pull in different people and address all that area, then all three
Okay,
areas.
can we split this up? Okay, because I'm starting to get confused as to what people want fixed. There's a couple potholes and then the garbage truck area. And then you're talking about other things. And then people keep bringing up the gravel parking lot. So if we're talking replacing blacktop over that entire area, we're talking 30, 40, 50 grand versus 6,000 here. So I need to know exactly what we're talking about fixing here before I vote. And what you guys want more beds on.
Well,
I don't get that.
The only thing that we have a motion on the table for right now is fixing the
Well,
second drive.
I know what I'm voting on. I'm
Okay.
just saying, I want to know what you're
What's the
saying
options?
we should get more bids on.
What's the other options? Are we talking the entire parking lot? Are we only talking the bus driveway?
Because
What's
a
the
lot of
option?
things have been thrown out here.
Right.
and
It's all
getting
those
kinda
options.
But we
confusing.
can't afford a whole parking lot right now.
That's why I brought you
I
those.
just looked at the O&M fund. We can't afford that.
But we don't have the numbers in front of us to
Right.
decide.
True.
So instead of
But we're
talking
also
about
voting on
replacing the whole lagoon and all that other stuff, we need to, and because is the lagoon the gravel parking lot? Is that what you're talking about?
It's right at the edge of, it is actually the asphalt, the very edge of the asphalt, right there by the gravel that,
Okay.
right next to, comes
All right.
right up to the sidewalk, and it's right there. It's that big area.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
yeah. It's
it kinda
subsided.
got combined into the gravel area.
Okay, yes.
And it was a little confusing
Oh, okay,
as
okay.
far as.
But that still is, that is technically blacktop underneath the water. If you scrape the water away, that's blacktop there. The line comes right at the edge of the lagoon. But it is blacktop rather than the gravel milling, which is out a little bit farther.
Gotcha.
So all I need is direction from where you would like to take the discussion, and so I can research and find out what the numbers are. I was bringing to you some issues that I felt were kind of immediate, that needed to be looked at in a shorter time span rather than a larger project that probably wouldn't be able to get to until spring. So, right. So, I have no problem if we want to table things and, set this aside until we have further discussion and research. That's fine.
Let's do a consensus. Who would like to go ahead and vote on this as is? What he's brought, and that leaves 1,500, I think, in addition. Or who would
Well,
like
I
to
think
table it?
Brenda's right. I mean, $8,000 is cheaper than a,
50, 60 grand.
But it would be
Well,
part of
$8,000
that
is cheaper than a workman's comp claim
Or a liability claim.
or a liability claim.
That's
Oh.
more likely because you've got parents, you know, if it's raining and it's wet, you've got
Or it's
parents
frozen
running
solid in
out.
an ice rink.
Well,
They're not running
And
out there.
the area that we're talking about is right where the kids are getting out, right, and going in those doors,
The
correct?
fourth grade hallway?
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
I
I'm
got it.
just trying to make, I'm just trying
Yeah,
to.
that's
figure
what
it out.
I needed.
I couldn't get
I
it
needed
either.
a visual of
So
where that
kids-
hole
Okay.
was.
So kids are getting dropped off and water's cooling, so as soon as it gets cold, we're having.
We're gonna have an
rink.
ice rink.
Even though they're gonna come in and put the salt and stuff down, it's still gonna be
gonna be
a
ice
potential
Because
hazard.
it has subsided,
Okay,
and it's about 3 to 4 inches in depth.
okay.
And it's just because cars driven on it. I mean,
Right.
it's just a fact of
Oh,
nature.
yeah, to be honest, but we can't afford to replace the entire parking
We
lot.
can.
Okay, and as far as the concrete for the dumpster,
Yes, ma'am.
that's not going to affect the parking lot even if we go ahead and pave it, right? If we decide next year, we can pave, we can still buy the dumpster, the concrete for the dumpster
Yes, ma'am.
area.
Mhm.
So. I have no problem approving it, both of these.
I don't even think about
I'm good.
All right, let's take a roll call.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Pam Griner,
No.
Brenda Cagle, Val Reagan,
No.
Julie Troop,
it. Aye.
Rebecca Kern, aye, Judy Strong.
No.
Motion carried.
Thank
Moving
you.
on to E7, please.
I make a motion to fund class grade level field trips for the 2013-2014 school year.
Second.
When we started looking at, or when I brought this up a couple months ago, a month or so ago, 6 weeks, I'm not sure, I wanted to bring information to the Board of Education regarding the cost of field trips here in the school district. So, presented that information. I received a request from the 4th grade this, the 7th, on the 7th, to go on a field trip. They requested a field trip to go to the Peoria Ballet to see the Nutcracker. And one of the interesting things was that this year there's a 4th grader who is going to be performing in the Nutcracker. The teachers did a wonderful job putting together the state goals and how the fine arts would be addressed. They did a fine job with that. They did a fine job with covering some of the costs for individuals who are on free and reduced lunch. They met all of the expectations that I had talked about I wanted to see from teachers who were requesting field trips, and they did a great job. But as the time got closer, I just felt that I was not able to approve the field trip. So I had that conversation with the 4th grade teachers, and they were, upset, of course, but they had the understanding, and they wrote at the bottom of their request that if we're only going to get one field trip, we'd rather do something else than if this was all we were going to get this year, okay? So essentially, what I'm looking for is, direction from the board on how we would like to address field trips costs. Because, as you can see on the first page, the calculated cost base from last year is $510, or $5.10 per mile. Okay? So a bus, empty or full, costs $5.10 per mile. That's just our operating cost, and that was based on last year calculation. And when Shelley and I looked at it again, it's gone up, and it's almost $6 per mile this year. But if you look in the back at our fund balances, I'm sorry, let me get to the right one. Page 14 in the back, where it says
Transportation fund.
Transportation Fund, right at the top. If you'll see, is everybody on that page? Very back page. Right now, at the end of October, we are at 33% of the fiscal year. And if you go all the way down, the right-hand column, 12, 13, 14, year to date, all the way down to the bottom, you'll see that we are at 37.56% of our expenses. Our expenses are running just a little bit ahead of, where we're at year to date in the calendar. So I based this year's transportation fund on the numbers from last year, and the numbers from last year did not include money for field trips. Okay, that was at the end of the year. You did not fund some of the field trips at the end of the year. So that number I based my budget on did not include field trips. Now, field trips have a wonderful educational component. They are an enrichment to children's educations when they're done correctly, and I think the staff have my expectation, given this submission that I got from the 4th grade. It seems that they seem to understand what it is I'm looking for when they submit a field trip. I am a supporter of field trips, but that's where I'm at. If we are, as a board, if we're looking at funding and allowing field trips, we will just need to know that the transportation fund could run short at the end of the year, right? Which is what happened last year as well. So I would encourage, it'd be my recommendation that we have and allow field trips, but I understand the fiscal responsibility. That's why I'm asking for the board to give some direction to the administration on this issue.
I have no problem with field trips. I think they're, like you said, a good educational experience. What I have a problem with is the field trips that were listed here from last year. And I said this at the last meeting, I'd much rather see the kids go to the ballet or to have some other kind of experience that they probably would never get ever in their life versus Wildlife Prairie Park. I'm sorry, I love wildlife. I go there often, but once you go there, that same old bear pacing the fence, I just don't see the kids. I see the kids, I know from as a parent what my kids did when they went to Summer Park to go canoeing. They flipped the canoes and played in water and came home stinking like stinking water. That's not a field trip. That's not an educational field trip. That's a play day.
Could have been educational.
Well, maybe some of them learned how to swim that day, I don't know. But all I know is like taking kindergartners on an 85-mile trip to Linden Farm.
No, I think it's 85 kids, wasn't it?
No, it says miles,
miles.
85 miles.
Oh my gosh, I was thinking it's 85 kids, because I'm thinking, why only 24 sixth graders got to go? That was going to be my question.
It was 2 buses, so it's,
Yeah, it doubled.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
cut it in half, it's 20 miles.
24.
Okay.
One way.
Okay. Because I'm thinking,
It was 12 miles.
I'm thinking 40 miles. I would cut it in half. I didn't see the 2 buses. I cut it in half and I'm thinking 40 miles and I'm like, holy cow, kindergartners on the bus for an
12
hour.
miles.
Yeah.
12 miles.
Okay, that's a little more understanding.
Yeah, fine.
Years ago, there was always a list. And each grade level had a choice of maybe 3 or 4 places to go. They were never repeated. That's where Mrs. Troop's coming up with that, I think.
Well, yeah, you go to wildlife when you're in
Curry.
3rd grade, you go to wildlife when you're in
Right.
6th grade, and you go to wildlife when you're in, I mean, like, really?
This says 4th and 7th, and even though we've got a high turnover rate of students in and out, some of them may be here from 4th to 7th, so I'd like to see that different too.
I went in 4th grade 3 times with my 3 kids, and they went by themselves in 7th grade 3 times.
But I think it's
Exactly.
important the kids have field trips.
I think it is too, but I think the teachers need to be really creative, like the ballet. Why not? There's all kinds of things with Peoria Players, with
The Cat
East,
Museum now, I mean, it's a
with
wonderful.
the new
Well, that's the
museum, it's
riverfront.
amazing. There's East Light offers like different plays and different things like that. I mean, there's,
I would like to, I would like to leave it
ways.
still in the teacher's hands as far as investigating, researching, showing me where that site fits into our state standards. How is this going to give those kids an educational component that's still fun, that still is giving them an experience that they may never, they may not get.
they may never get, ever. Exactly.
And I would hate to see just a list of 20 places and you get to pick and that's all you get. I don't think that would be, I wouldn't support anything like that.
Well, like Landmark has different exhibits once in a while, and sometimes they're pretty fascinating. Then they did the body exhibit thing there a few years ago. It was really amazing, and it was very kid-friendly, and
Landmark?
at Landmark.
I mean,
And-
that's fascinating. I didn't know they had exhibits there.
But I've never seen that on the list it's always the same old places, and it's like, come on, people. I don't want I don't want teachers to just say, well, we didn't get to go to a field trip yet, and it's April, and it's almost out of school, oh, well, let's just go to wildlife. No, I don't approve that.
Quite a bit to the Science Museum. I remember them going there.
Yeah, and that's good for the little,
That was
the
Bloomington
little kids.
is, how many
There's a
miles?
children's,
It's 40.
40?
it's a long ways.
80
But it
miles,
was
2
really-
buses,
I think it's
Well,
very
160.
educational for
I think they
Well,
substituted the Riverfront Museum with
Right.
Bloomington.
Yeah.
Well, another thought that I mentioned to Mr. Aldridge was perhaps with our tight budgeting right now, we should step back and maybe allow creative funding to come in instead of funding through the school. And then of course he still monitors and addresses that, as Mrs. Troop mentioned.
So the PACE group doesn't ever help with funding of.
They used to.
They used to.
But not the parent club used to.
Yeah. I wondered if that.
And
could
why
be
couldn't
part of
they?
it as
I mean,
well.
Well,
They
that would be
could,
up to
but
them, but.
We watched our money all these years. We had reserves. This is what the money's for. Let the kids, I think the district could pay for 1 field trip per grade level, and then if PACE could come in possibly for something special like that ballet, that would be awesome.
Or I think when did we go, well, we paid for it as parents, but we went to the circus Circus Soleil show when they came to
There
town.
are some costs on the other side, right?
But as parents, I mean, we paid for it for some of the kids to go that year. But it was an experience, a lot of the kids, because I know I paid for like 3 or 4 kids just so they could go. It was an experience they would have never seen.
And all we're talking is the transportation.
Well, that was my
Talking
next,
admission.
that was my next question, was how do you handle then your admission fees? And, now, granted, I know that the teachers and staff here aren't extravagant. They're not, saying, they're not asking to go to, $20 admission parks and stuff like that. But, how is it we want to handle that part of this with, a free and reduced lunch count that you'll see is kind of high. Do the parents pay for it all? Does the district fund part of it? Do you give scholarships? Those are things that we need to think of a little bit later on. But yes, they need to be addressed.
I know scholarships were offered in the past.
Like just people paid for it, and people gave extra money to help someone who didn't have the money. I mean, I know parents.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of what they
I
called
think other
scholarship.
parents said, here's some money just in case someone.
Right, and that's kind of what they called scholarship. Like they had like kind of little like paid.
Do we have any data on that in the past? How many have not been able to pay?
The principals just always handled it, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
Kind of
this
building
would just make a
fund or-
motion to vote
yeah.
on the field trip, one per class.
Right.
No child is going to be denied.
I think we're talking a minimal amount of money here overall.
Yeah.
So if we approve $2,000 because nothing is in here for 2nd and 3rd grade.
Well, and I want to bring up also 8th grade. That is a trip that is solely paid for by themselves the last day of school.
Yeah.
We do nothing for the 8th grade kids and haven't. I mean, I just kind of don't think it's right. I think if we're going
Construction
to
fair,
pay
but
for
I think-
one
Well,
field
they get
trip,
the
we pay
party.
for them all.
They get the aloha
And the
party.
teachers pay for that.
Okay, the motion is for class grade field trip for all the grade levels, so that would include an 8th grade then,
And the amount goes up.
not Six Flags.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that
a
would be-
That's a
I
reward
wanted to
type.
get that in.
Yeah.
And they're paying for themselves.
Not Six Flags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not paying for Six Flags, Mr.
No.
Jokic.
Well,
If you are.
one consideration, we do have reserve. However, we also have buildings that are in repair. There's numerous repairs that have been brought to us by the superintendent recently, and there are more coming. So, that might be a consideration that we need to think about also. And let that creative, not telling them not to, but let that creative funding come in.
Well, we're not approving necessarily specific field trips. We're just approving Mr. Aldridge to be able to make that decision
But
on
we're
whether or
paying
not
for it
they're
as
gonna. Well, yeah.
The payment of it is what I'm addressing, because of the repairs of the building and the properties. Society right now with economics. I'm just suggesting perhaps we need to, if you cut, you go to those financial workshops, they're telling you as much as you can, cut the fringes off for right now until it gets nice again.
But I don't think field trips are the fluff. I think it's important that the children go and see and get out in their communities and learn.
And like Ms.
I'd rather
Aldridge said,
see
it's a
some
fun
cuts other
learning
places.
experience. So you're learning while you're having fun, and that's going to be remembered.
Right.
And I mean, we're talking $2,000, basically.
Approximately. I
Right.
mean, even if it's $2,500, it's still $2,500 versus, and you can still be, I mean, we're putting a number on it, and we really shouldn't put a number on it. We should just say, these teachers can be creative and should be creative. And then it's Mr. Aldridge's job to say, no, you need to be more creative with that submission, or, hey, good idea, that's a great idea, can be suggested to other grade levels, potentially. you know? I mean,
So I do think we need to limit it somewhat. I mean, if we did 2,500 even, that's giving them
$1,000
more than they've had. It gives them a little bit of leeway. But yet we know how much is going to be spent out of the reserves.
All right.
well, it's not necessarily even out of the reserves yet.
If
We
it
don't know
comes to
that.
If it comes to that.
Yeah, and we don't know that yet.
I'm all for one field trip per grade. I think that makes sense. They're not gonna get a field, a lot of these kids aren't ever gonna get a chance to go on anything else ever again.
Yeah, some of these kids from every school. Surrounding area.
Yeah.
They're lucky to get to go to Peoria sometimes.
Well, let's have roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Okay, I want to know what the motion is, because other things have been
To
said.
fund,
Did we put a money amount, or?
no,
No.
one
Okay.
grade level field trip for the 2013-2014 school year.
Mrs. Cagle made the motion.
Yes.
Would you consider putting in that we fund the transportation cost? Just to clarify, I don't want to,
That's
Right.
probably what it should be, correct?
could we do that?
Mr. Alders, that is what it should be, right? The transportation.
Can we add to fund the transportation cost?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay,
Because otherwise it might be assumed the admission would be.
that's what I
All
was
right, then
concerned about.
I'll do it. I make a motion to fund the transportation cost per class, per grade level field trips for the 2013-2014 school year. Does that sound okay?
You want to limit it to one per grade level, or is that,
One per grade level.
that should cover it? Seconded.
Okay, so is every class going to get to go? Because that has happened before, even with the funding there.
They don't
Teachers
choose to
need
go.
to get creative and start finding out field trips.
Well, I know I know that's happened in the past, like 2 classes will go and the 1 class stays back. And I don't know if it's because they didn't have funding.
Well, just like this, 2nd and 3rd grade.
Right.
According to this paperwork, did not go anywhere last year, but everybody else did. That's not, 3rd grade did.
3rd grade went to the museum last year.
Sorry.
First and second, I'm sorry.
They chose not to.
Well, I guess that's my
It was
question.
funding.
But they chose not to, so I mean.
Do we want that as our expectation, though, that they will go in?
There was
I
no
support
funding
No.
last year, I think is what Ms.
No, what Ms. McArdle said was
No,
they
absolutely
chose
chose not to.
not
Right,
to
because of
go.
no funding.
No.
Funding was not an issue.
Funding was available.
Okay.
We told them, you can go, we will pay for transportation, you can go. They chose not to go. It was late in the year, it was very late, it was like May.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
I think everybody should.
But the other ones, like 3rd grade and 4th grade, they made their
I don't-
decisions at that time.
I don't think we have to stipulate that, though.
Yeah, I don't think
you're
you can
throwing it
force
out
it.
there that they can do this.
It's an option for them, and, I mean, I would think it would be your job to put that expectation out there.
Okay.
So
For
how
them
many
to
would
change
want
their-
every grade to go? I would. So that would be my expectation, Mr. Aldrich.
I would.
Of course.
It's my expectation too, but I don't think it's our
It's
job.
not part of the
No.
motion. We've expressed it to him.
Yes.
All right, roll call, please.
Linda
Aye.
Bailey? Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle? Val Reagan? Julie Troop?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? No. Judy Strong?
I'll vote yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we have communications.
Sorry, just taking some notes. All right. Number 1 is a press release that I sent to our brand new field reporter, Vika Shankar, from the Peoria Journal-Star. I emailed that over to him, and it's for immediate release regarding the district thanks to its board members for lending a hand. And I didn't see it in the newspaper, so I don't know what's happened to that. Oh, he's still here. But what I had done was I talked to the staff and asked them to do a little creative project with their students. And if you would open your package,
Are
you'll
these
see.
gonna make me cry? Because it's a possibility here. I'm just saying.
Okay.
You got Kleenex. Okay, I got tears already, guys. This is, oh, aren't they cute?
This is the nice stuff. And they can spell. It's not Amelia.
You each received your certificate from the
They're spelling so well.
Illinois
What's rated?
Association
any from my children.
I love the foot. Look.
honoring each
Can you
board
make that
member
foot?
on School Board Members Day, last Friday, 2013, for dedicated leadership in the public education and continuing service to the children of this community, Creve Coeur School District number 76. So I just want to say thank you for being a wonderful Board of Education. Your flowers. And when we adjourn for executive session, there is cake and punch in the back. So, and I was hoping there'd be more, so I got a big old cake, so I figured there'd be a lot more, so that I guess Mr. Giddens and Mr. Bachler can take some home with them.
Oh, we're wrong.
Thank you very much, Ms. Moses.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Come, you're welcome.
It is a lot of fun.
So-
And the teachers.
Yes, the
A lot of effort
teachers.
For them in the classroom.
Yeah, I was very happy and very glad that they did this.
Oh, this one drew a turkey for me.
So I'll continue on while you guys are reading. Here, the next communication is the article from the Peoria Journal-Star regarding Parkview's ISAT program. And I love the big picture we got in the newspaper and also online. So that was a wonderful thing there. If you haven't seen the WMBD story, the news story, it is linked on the website still. On the front page of the website, there's another thank you to the board members for putting it out to the community a little bit more, letting them know what it is that you guys actually sacrifice and do here. I think it's a very important job, and I want the community to know what efforts you guys put into this, you ladies put into this. Okay? So, we do that, and yes, there are a lot of new things going on on our website. There's a lot of links, a lot of blue. If you see blue highlights, boom, hit those, because you'll go to different places on the website and you'll find the different information being embedded into the text. And Ms. Callahan is really stepping up her game and making it all look very nice. So I want to commend her for all of that as well. So those were the communications. Information.
I love, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I love, by the way, seeing some positive information about Creve Coeur in the schools, in the news.
Yes.
It's like a first for me.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Good. I'm glad. We're trying to do that. We're trying to push that out more. Also last week, I attended the village board meeting to introduce myself to the council and to the village trustees and the mayor and all of the players in the village, just to get my face out there and to start that relationship building, to start working together. And they agreed with me. What's the first thing that people moving into community looks at? The school district. That's exactly right. And each one of them shook their head and said, yes, the schools. And I said, you need to know what we're doing and the good things that are going on in your school district. So we're going to start working and getting that pipeline together there. So, Ms. Smallberger, there was a big punch bowl. Yeah, you don't have to make it up from scratch. They already did that for us. I know, she's such a sweetheart.
Put her to work when she comes to school board meeting.
Yeah, I know. That's good. She's a union representative. Shh.
Oh, exactly. I think it was volunteer.
Informational items. Excuse me. We have some assignments for committees, and Mrs. Strong has put together the lists of things and committees and assignments, so I'm going to let her take care of talking to you guys individually about those things. But you can see we've got some that need to be talked about this year. Labor relations, insurance, the support staff contract negotiations, teacher evaluation instrument committee, the technology committee, Homewood facility, and citizens advisory special committee. So there will be, Mrs. Troop, plenty of things for you to do. She keeps reminding me, if you have anything going on, let me know. I'm here to help. I know you do. That's great.
For that phone call.
Yep. So, next are the Chicago Conference, and everyone's, we'll take care of the signatures and everything, but I have checks and our advancements and all of the information for our travel to the Chicago Conference. One thing that I've done that I'm hoping that you all will agree to is that on Saturday, wait a minute. Yep, okay. Ms. Kern, I printed mine off too.
Oh.
Printed. Just a few things that I want to go see while I'm at Chicago. But what I found was that on Saturday, from noon until 1:30, there's the President's Luncheon going on. And I wasn't sure if anyone had signed up for that and paid the extra fee.
We're not the
Hearing none. What's that?
We're not the president.
Hearing none, I took it upon myself to, excuse me, to make some reservations for Saturday at noon for 8 people at Chicago Houlihan's Restaurant, 111 East Wacker Drive. I would love for all of my board members to come and join me as my guests, as there will be no public money spent on this dinner, or luncheon, sorry. But it's $7 less a month. Did I say that before? Have I said that?
I think we heard that.
Houlihan's in downtown Chicago is located between Michigan Avenue and Lower Wacker Drive, and is your place to dine in Chicago. Whether you're looking for a great meal for lunch or dinner, or just a place to unwind, Chicago Downtown Houlihan's Restaurant provides a great experience. Drink up your happy hour specials, but we're not paying for them. Check out our current happenings, or just find your favorite item on the menu, and if you want to peruse the menu, we did print it up for you. So, as my guests on Saturday luncheon, ladies, I would really like you to join me there, because there aren't any sessions going on during that time, and I think it'd be a good way for us to get together.
I'm sorry, there's any sessions at that time then? I thought it was like From 1:40
At 1:30.
Okay.
Yes,
But not
yes.
from noon to 1:30.
Oh, I was thinking 1 o'clock, I wrote 1 down there.
Sorry,
Oh,
from
I
noon
didn't
to
get there.
1:30.
Back at 1:30.
Yep. And the restaurant's just right around the corner. It's just right around the corner.
Okay, 12.
You didn't have to serve people, Mrs. Smallberger.
You said enjoy.
We received a FOIA this past month. It was from the National Bureau of Economic Research, and we were not the only school district to receive this. Actually, quite a few friends of mine, we all kind of sent out an email saying, "Did you get this? Yeah. Did you get this? Yeah." So they were looking at collective bargaining agreements since the year 2000. And so we just had to comply with that and send it up to them electronically and took care of that. You can see the response in the packet. If you would like a copy of all of the information and documents that were sent, let me know and I can send them to you electronically because it's all of the copies of all the contracts for the past 14 years. So. Facility update. Homewood. I'd hoped to have Larry the architect's report by the board meeting. Larry the architect didn't get back to me, so that means he did not have his report ready. I did email some pictures regarding the giant crack in the wall over at Homewood, but that's something that we are really going to have to look into. And that's the facilities committee. Homewood will be something we need to get on and start talking about as soon as Larry the architect gets me some information. It's not a load-bearing wall, so the ceiling's not going to fall in. It is not it's not unstructurally unsafe, so it is okay for occupancy, but that's as far as he would go. So.
Who does Larry the architect work for?
Keenan and Associates.
Just wondering.
Yep. So Larry the architect knows that I've asked for more clarification in his billing so that we know what's going on. The gym roof leaks at LaSalle. Kryling Roofing Company came in and they're going to give us a report on our 12-year-old roof. Actually, the gentleman called me today, but we couldn't get connected, so that'll just wait, and information will come up there. We had some information on the hot water. The hot water heater has not gone out, and it has not been replaced yet. It seems that there is a problem with one of the circulation pumps, and so we had to call the plumber because it was beyond Mr. Grove's. He hit the wall. He was like, I don't know, and so we had to call the plumber in, and he'll be in this week to take a look at it. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Parkview issues. The air conditioning compressor is being replaced, so we'll take care of all of that. Thompson Electric came out to diagnose and repair a bunch of wiring. Is that right, Mr. Jokish?
Yes.
So we're hoping that that'll take care of some of the failures that we're having with some of the heat sensors and things like that. As stuff in, it gets to the end of its useful life. I've said that, again and again. It just has to be replaced. So we will continue to look for that.
Sweet of you, Patty.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The last informational item is the administrator teacher salary benefit report. This is the annual report that the district has to submit to the State Board of Education, and the board reviews prior to submission and posting on the website. So there's nothing really of any voting situation. It's just a review, and so that is there for the board. All right, that's all the information and reports. Now, as you enjoy your cake and ice cream, we're going to have the principal's report, and we get to use a laser pointer. You guys see that? Or do we need to move that up? How does it go up? We pull that out. Ooh, I guess two people got to do it. Okay. Now. Right. Does that help? Yep, looks pretty good.
And then I will move the slide up. I'm sorry.
Our district report cards come out October 30th, or I'm sorry, 31st, and the interactive report cards are on the website. They're on our website, and you can link to them. So what I wanted was for the principals to give you the information behind the report cards. Okay, so we're looking at this over a 5-year trend, is what we've done. And please, everybody get cake and ice cream because, you know, I bought or sherbet. Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I was talking to Linda.
Because I bought a cake for 600 people thinking that I was going to have a real good group here. But 5-year student enrollment data is first place to start. 2009-10, you can see our total student population is stayed pretty steady. You know, we are dropping off, but it stayed pretty steady. So, you know, that is a good indicator that the district is still healthy, that the community has not, you know, you're not having this sinkhole of people leaving. So this is very good information right here for us to know. But as you can see, the next line is free and reduced lunch percentages. 63 up to 65% the next year, 72% down to 70, back to 72%, and this year we are at 76%. 76% of these 665 students are eligible for free and reduced lunch, and that comes out to about 530 kids in our school district. Part of the other thing that educators look at is the mobility rate. Students leaving the district, coming back to district. You know, kids just district hopping around. Those things do happen, and you can see that you kind of were steady for a number of years here. Your mobility rate was, 22%, in the 20s, and then last year it went up to 38%. It's 0 right now because this is our current year, and we won't get that mobility rate until the end of the year. Those numbers come out from the State Board of Education as they track these kids. But you got 40%, just nearly 40% of your students are mobile. I mean, they're moving. They leave and they come back. And it is a factor when we start talking about adequate yearly progress. Some of the dynamics, some of the demographics in our district, you can see that we're about 90% Caucasian, white as it's called here. Percentage of black, you can see it's gone from 1, 2, 3, 4, Hispanic 1, 3, 3, 3, 4, and no Asian students. But I think this is where we're at. This is the population that is Creve Coeur. So we were talking about the low income, the free and reduced lunch. All right, here's the district, 63%, and you can see the state average is 43%. 65, 45. 72, 48. 70, 49. 72, 50. So you can see we're well above that state average. And this is the percentage of students who live in low-income households. They meet that criteria if the family receives public aid, they live in institutions for neglected or delinquent children, being supported in foster homes with public funds, or they're eligible to receive free and reduced lunch price. So these are our students, 72%. 76% this year, sorry. Mobility rates again, I just wanted to compare and contrast. All right, 21% for us, 14. 23, 13, 24, 13, 13, 13. The state has remained consistent, except we haven't. We're consistently higher, I guess, but that 38% really is a number that's it's very concerning. It's, it's 3 times
Well, and
the state average.
we were staying pretty consistent
In the
until
20s.
last year.
Right. But still, almost twice the state average.
Well, yeah.
But the problem with it, mobility rate, the issue with that is it's the students who transfer in and out of districts between the first day of school, or first day of October, and the last day of the year. Students may change districts for a variety of reasons, such as family moves and others. But here's the real thing. Continuous student turnover is shown to be potentially academically and socially disruptive to both ongoing and transferring students. Not only those kids, is it harmful for those kids who are leaving and coming and going, but it's the ongoing students who are here. Their classrooms, their educational environments are disrupted too, or as well. So mobility is a factor when we start talking about public education. Truancy, we're not bad. You can see that we're pretty low here in our truancy, below the state average, which is good. But chronic truants are at risk of academic and behavioral problems. That is where we're at. Those 6% here that we deal with are chronic truants, and we see the academic and behavioral problems from those students. So that population too also disrupts the ongoing educational process of our current students. Students with disabilities, you can see that we were pretty high, about twice the average, twice the state average here, but we've been consistently bringing that down so that we are pretty comparable last year with the state average. So to be commended for putting some processes and procedures in place to address the students with disabilities in the school district. So what's all of this mean? Well, I'm telling you this to preface what the principals are now going to show you, which is the success. The success this district has had, even with all of those areas and all of those hurdles and drawbacks. One of the things that we have heard is when they start talking about AYP, what is the safe harbor provision? What does it mean? Well, we just made AYP only because we had safe harbor. Well, that's not the way to look at it, because schools and subgroups reach performance targets for increasing proficiency in reading and math to make AYP. Now, there's an exception to that requirement, because as we know, by next year, 100% of all of our students in this school district have to be able to read at grade level. That's what the federal government said. Well, that's just not reality, is it? We know that. But schools can still make AYP if each subgroup that fails to reach its proficiency performance targets, which right now are 92.5%. If we didn't meet 92.5%, it reduces its percentage of students not meeting the standards by 10% of the previous year's percentage. Now, what does that mean? Well, we reduce the percentage of students not meeting the standards. What does that mean? Well, we increase the number of students who did meet the standard by 10%. You've got to do that by 10% to hit the safe harbor. And then the subgroup meets the attendance rate standards and all of that. But what you're going to see from the principals tonight is that 10% standard in the safe harbor, we went well beyond that in some of these areas. Okay? We went well beyond that. So I'm excited. I want to celebrate this success. I want you as board members to celebrate what you do so that the community knows how good it is here. Yes, ma'am.
When I looked at our website and went down through and looked at each school in the surrounding areas, I'm talking Washington and Metamora and Bartonville and Pekin, it looked like, maybe I was wrong, but I was looking at it, but it looked like our school was one of maybe 3 in the whole area that made AYP and both reading and math. Was I wrong?
I don't know if it was, the numbers are different, and I hear numbers, I've heard 5, I've heard 6, and I've heard 3, so.
I didn't look at Peoria.
But it's a low, it is, it's getting harder and harder to make AYP.
But isn't it because their safe harbor was different than ours? I mean.
No, everybody's safe harbor is the same.
Well, 10%, but they were already meeting standards at like 85, 86% some school districts. So it's hard for them to go up 10%.
But how hard is it for us to go up 10%?
With our kids being that mobile.
I know, but I just.
Okay, I'm just saying everybody's level here. It's a leveler.
I agree, but I'm just saying, their meetings, some of their districts are meeting it at 85%. I mean, not meeting it, but their kids are testing out at 85%. So,
No,
I mean,
85% of their students
are meeting AYP.
are meeting the state standards.
Exactly. Which
But if you look at those scores this year, it's probably going to be less. Okay, because of the new standards that have been in place. But they still are subject to, they have to increase by 10%, just like we do.
That. Right, and that's why they failed AYP.
No, they did, we didn't. And you know what? I like that. We did. And we did because of the efforts of the school board and of the staff and of the administrators. And Mr. Jokish is going to take us through the schools, parks.
Yes, and Mrs. McCardle made a vomiting motion and ran out, so that's why she's not here at the moment. Anyway, okay.
Hopefully she'll be back.
Hopefully, yeah, hopefully she's okay.
Yeah, I know she's fine. Should I go check?
That was about a half hour ago, so I don't know. She might be long gone at this point. But if that's the case, she's probably better off being long gone. So, okay, this here shows the 5-year reading trend data. What this shows is for each grade level where we were at. Now, the big number I look at here is what we really focus on is growth, and that's how we made Safe Harbor. Basically, each year we have to look at the students we have, where we're at. And our teachers have done a good job this year of looking, and we did this last year also, where we look at student data, review individual strengths and weaknesses. We start to problem solve and figure out how can we help our students achieve more? How can we reach a higher point? You know, that's our main goal. Showing improvement, showing growth with the students we have. And while this goes back 5 years, if, back in 2011, as a district, we had 60% of students meeting or exceeding the standards. 2012, 63.67%. And then in 2013, we jumped all the way up to 71%. And that's how we hit the Safe Harbor. There's basically on improvement. So ideally, as we're going through our data and looking at where we're at and where we're going, we want to have a 81% next year meeting or exceeding the standards. And what we've already done is looked at each individual student, especially those kids, we call them bubble kids, where they're very close to, they were just a few points off. And you think with a few extra interventions, with targeting their weaknesses, I believe that we can get those students up to meeting standards, and we're going to see that percentage increase. One trend that's pretty common here is, and this is how we started off at the beginning of the school year. If you look at our 7th grade students, each year, every single year, basically there's a drop off from the middle, about the middle when they're 6th grade, and then they go from 6th to 7th, there's a drop off. 6th to 7th, there's a drop off. 6th to 7th, there's a drop off. Big drop off this past year. And, we spent a lot of time, that's a difficult age level because there's more, a little bit more freedom, there's more moving around, and it's true with every junior high with change, students struggle a little bit more. So, but we're constantly having that conversation of what we can do to help those students. Anyway, this covers our reading trend. The next slide covers math. Fairly similar here. Math made a huge jump this past year. We went from 70% meeting or exceeding standards in 2012 all the way up to 83% meeting or exceeding standards. And the challenge I know I've talked about with my staff a great deal is at Parkview we made a AYP for regular education students in 2012 for reading and math. We had a subgroup that kept us off. So we made positive gains from 2011 to 2012. We made positive gains from 2012 to 2013. It's like Ms. Reagan was talking about, the job is on us to continue showing growth, to continue showing improvement. This chart here is probably the one that I focus on the most because it specifically looks at groups of students, where they're at from year to year, and how much progress they make. And it's a little bit confusing to read this. This cut off here, but it should say reading class of 2013, 2014, 2015. So basically, this shows the individuals for each year. So like this group here, where it says 2013, that was the graduating class of 2013. They're now in 9th grade. So the graduating class at Parkview, 2018, they're currently now in 4th grade. So we look at this trend data over 5 years to see, I'll show you an example here for 2000, which group is it? If you look at the current 6th grade group at Parkview, last year only 49% of them met or exceeded standards for reading. Now that's actually up. Back when they were in 3rd grade, it was only 43%. 4th grade, only 51% met or exceeded standards. And then this year they were up to 55%. So 49 is the average. So statistically, that group's a little bit lower than the other grade levels throughout the district. Realistically, they're not going to jump from 55 all the way up to 90%. So we take that into consideration when we're setting targets. If we can get this 55 up to 65, we're making progress. Ideally, we'd like to see it go up to 90% or even 100%, no child left behind. But here's the kids that we have. We want them to demonstrate significant growth.
60 to 82.
What's that?
What is it, 2015 group? They jumped from, what, is it 60 or 68? My
60,
glasses are not quite that good. 60 to 82, right? From between the 5th and 6th grade?
Yes, that's a huge gain. And that's what we're so proud of. When you see 5th grade from 6th grade, and let's see, that would have been the 2012 when they were in 5th grade, only 60% of them met or exceeded standards. So then last year they jumped all the way up to 82% meeting or exceeding standards in reading. And that's what we want. That's really what we look at. Those are kind of the individual things that we're very proud of when we can see those results. Now, unfortunately, data is telling us that this 82 will probably drop off a little bit. We don't want that to happen. We're doing everything we can to combat that, but the data is telling us that there's probably going to be a drop off from when they go from 6th grade to 7th grade, but when they go back into 8th grade, they're going to see an increase. And I kind of always joke with my staff that, data shows that our 7th grade teachers are doing a terrible job, but our 8th grade teachers are doing a great job. Of course, they're all 7th and 8th grade teachers. Like Mr. C over there has all 7th, all 8th grade. Chances are he will probably see a drop off with his 7th graders, but he will see a big increase with his 8th graders. The next graph is just similar. It's just the same thing with math, where you just look at the individual groups. I know, like, if you look at the graduating class of 2018, there are current 4th graders. Last year they had 91% meeting or exceeding standards. That's awesome. And again, it's incumbent upon us to try to get them to demonstrate growth. We want to get this up to like close to 100%. Again, with these grouping here, the first chart is they're currently 9th graders. And if you look at this column here, like when they were in 5th grade, 78% meeting, 6th grade, 82% meeting, so there was this drop off of 80%, and then 8th grade, they're up to 86%. As you look at these bar graphs here, ideally we want to go up, 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 and up. That's what we aim for, that's what we strive for. We don't always hit that, but that's our goal. And again, just as a staff, we worked very hard last year in reviewing student data, meeting individual student needs, so we made AYP this year. And we're excited about it. We want to continue to do it this year. The Operation ISAT program, which Mr. Aldridge showed you, it's in your board packets. And it was just a fun activity because it was motivational and it was also educational. It's a combination of those two things. Where we want kids to get excited about learning, about ISAT, and it's also somewhat competitive. And that's all I have. So, Mr. Aldridge, you want your laser pointer back? Is that the last one?
Thank you, Mr. Joey. Next question, Mr. Aldridge.
Sure.
These numbers are different than the numbers they showed us there. I'm confused.
The numbers here are the new cut scores, and we have the old cut scores. The new cut scores are all the percentages with the new ISATs that have the partial Common Core weaved into it. All right, so they have made the test more stringent. They've raised the bar, so to speak, and that lowers all of the percentages. Okay, but if we look at, and they give you a conversion table.
Okay, prior to.
So yes, so you could look at this year's lower rates as how they would compare with last year's rates.
Okay.
Yes, and that is.
It's very confusing because I don't see any 90s at all in 3rd grade on this.
Right.
But I did on that.
Right, because what Mr. Jokic did, what we wanted, was to use the old scores across the board, so that it all looked the same. I didn't want to throw in 42%, 65%. We didn't make it at 65%, but we do make it at 42%. That's ridiculous, you see? So we used the conversion table and brought it up so that we were apples to apples across the board. Yeah.
Same test, same test.
Yeah, same test, different way of scoring, different way that they have measured.
Me too, I like this.
I like this.
What if I could add on, opening day with the Parkview staff, we looked at, because we set targets and goals based on the old cut scores. And so at the introductory meeting, it was okay, here's the old cut scores. Similar to what I just showed you, here's where we're at. Moving forward, we've looked at the new cut scores, which on average are like 25 points lower. That's across the board. And so now we're setting targets and goals based on the new cut scores, which are significantly lower.
But you almost have to because they're not going to keep giving you that conversion.
Right.
Yeah, next year it's going to be all the new cut scores, and then now you've got a year to compare it to. So they're going to eventually just drop those old ones off. Yeah. So, all right, there is our principal's report.
Can I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Jokic, I don't know whose idea it was to do the military theme this year, but I just have to congratulate whoever it was, because I really think it's a good idea.
Thank you. We have a group, it's called our Operation ISAT group, and we gather roughly once a month, sometimes a little more, and we just, we talk about what we can do that's going to kind of, be, last year we did the medieval theme, this year it just made sense to, each class represents a branch.
Right, right. I loved reading about it. I loved the newspaper article about it. It was good, so.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good. All right, and I take it that ends our principal report.
That's the way I see it, yes.
Okay. I believe from there we're going into a motion for closed session, please.
Make a motion to enter into closed session for appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, and termination of personnel.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle? Val Reagan? Julie True?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
At 7:50, we'll meet in the other room at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
One later.
Just because we need to be back into some regular session, please, a motion.
I'll make the motion to resume regular session.
Second. Sorry.
Roll call.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle? Val Reagan? Julie True?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, we'd like a motion, please, for K1.
Make the motion to accept the resignation of Julie McCardle, effective June 30th, 2014, with regrets.
Second.
Roll call.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
K2 motion, please.
I'd like to make the motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to employ Shauna Pisano as a part-time custodian.
I second.
Immediately.
Should have started a long time ago.
Part-time custodian.
Mrs. Cagle.
Oh, Brenda, I'm sorry. I misunderstood the question.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan? Julie True?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes. K3 motion, please.
I make the motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to add Robert Stewart to the substitute custodian list.
Second.
Who are we going with? Mrs. Reagan?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
There was a number of you. Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle? Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
K4 motion, please.
Make the motion to approve the superintendent's recommendation to add Frank Smith to the substitute teacher list.
Aye. Second.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner?
Aye.
Brenda Cagle? Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
We need a motion to adjourn, please.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Linda Bailey?
Aye.
Pam Griner? Brenda Cagle?
Aye.
Val Reagan?
Aye.
Julie True?
Aye.
Rebecca Kern? Aye. Judy Strong?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, ladies.